Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Rosie and I am a UK midwife. So this week's upload, because I am now uploading every single week. If you missed my blog post this week, I have announced that I am going to be posting a video on YouTube every single Thursday. So while I'm on that, just give that little subscribe button a click so you don't miss any of my future videos. This week's video, lots and lots of you out there seem to have questions and queries about work-life balance and the shifts and the rota that you end up working as a UK midwife. So I thought I would go through a few details about how that works, how the schedule is sorted, the kind of annual leave and requests and things, how that all works. And I'm actually going to show a few of my actual rotas from the last year. I have put some timestamps in the box below, so if you want to skip to certain parts of the video or just skip to the bit where my actual rota is shown, then do have a click of those timestamps in the description box. I have got my laptop here because I've written myself some notes. There's a lot that I'm going to cover in this video, so I would suggest getting yourself a cup of tea, putting your feet up and making yourself comfortable. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is shift requests. So obviously, because of the nature of how it works in a hospital, you can work any day of the week and any night of the week. So how does that work if you have something on, if you have a family commitment, if you want to have a specific day off? Each hospital trust will work slightly differently, so obviously I can only talk from my own perspective. But my hospital gives you 4 requests every month. So that includes shifts that you say, I really want to work, or I really want to work a night, or I want this day off. So those 4 requests are considered to be pretty much guaranteed. You have to put them into the computer system, you have to put them in by a certain deadline, but if you do that, then they are pretty much guaranteed for you and you will have those days off. You can be quite clever with the shift requests, because if you, as an example, if you requested to work a long 12-hour day, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, then you would be off the rest of that week because you work 3 shifts a week. So you can be quite clever. That would be 3 of your 4 requests. But if there was something happening at the weekend and you wanted a long weekend, if there was a family member getting married or something and you wanted a longer weekend off, you could use your 4 requests to say you want to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then have the following Monday off. So that would mean you would work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you would be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then you could be working on the Tuesday. Equally, they might not put you on until later in the week. So you can be quite clever, and for most people who work a 9-to-5 job, if they wanted a Monday off, they would have to take annual leave. So there is a bit of a silver lining to shift work, and that's one of them. You can have a long weekend without using any of your precious annual leave. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is contract details. So obviously I work full-time, but my contract isn't actually 37.5 hours. My contract is 36. And that's what I was given when I started my job, but I am really, really pleased that it is 36 hours and would quite like to stay on a 36-hour contract, and I'm going to explain to you why. When you are on a 36-hour contract, because although you do a 12.5-hour shift, half an hour of that is your unpaid break. So for each 12-hour shift that you work, you only get paid for 12 hours. That comes into play when you start looking at how many hours you are contracted to work. So in my contract, I'm contracted to work 36 hours a week, which works out perfectly as 3 shifts a week. If your contract is 37.5 hours, that means that every now and again you will have a week where you have to work a 4th shift, and that is to make up for those half-hour breaks that you have, because you're effectively an hour and a half short every week. So every 4 or 5 weeks you'll have to do an extra shift to make up those hours. So that's just a little something to consider. I'd never really thought about it until I got offered my contract, and I started working at 36 hours, and I'm really, really pleased that that's what I work at. Generally in hospitals you don't have a set working pattern. It's week to week, whatever your schedule is, whatever shifts you get given, you will work them. The only time that that's not the case is if you have a flexible working contract discussed with your employer. So that tends to be the case if you've got specific childcare requirements and things like that, or if you're a carer. And that's something that you have to speak to your manager or your employer about. So with that flexible working contract, you would have a set working pattern. It tends to be a 2-week rotation. So you know that every second Saturday you work and every second Thursday night you work, or whatever the negotiated contract is. So that's quite good for people with kids. But that's generally the only time that you have a set kind of pattern or rotation of shifts. Obviously your requests are taken into account, but other than that you pretty much have the shifts you're given, and you can try and swap shifts if something comes up, but there's no guarantee that you will be able to do that. Another thing to take into account when it comes to looking at rotas and shifts and shift patterns is annual leave. Annual leave is one of those things that is really publicly known about. You can have a look online for the NHS annual leave policy, and it's set in stone the amount that you get. I think it changes after 5 years. You earn a little bit of extra annual leave for length of service. But initially it starts at 27 days plus bank holiday, but the NHS doesn't actually work it out in days, they work it out in hours, so you get an hourly entitlement. It works out much more fairly. So if you work an 8-hour day, you take 8 hours leave and you get a day off, whereas for me I have to take 12 hours off to have a day off. But obviously for me to have a whole week off, I would need to take 36 hours, and someone on a 36-hour contract who works 9 to 5 would also take 36 hours. So it works out that if you want a week off, you take the same amount of hours, and that works out as the same entitlement, regardless of what hours you actually work during the day or night. So for me at the moment, we haven't obviously had any travel booked, as has been the case for a lot of people, but for us we actually weren't planning on going on holiday this year, and that's because we are saving for the wedding and we are also moving house in 3 weeks. So for us, we knew that we weren't going to have any extended periods of leave, and so what I have done for this year is I have spread my annual leave out quite a lot. Instead of taking it in big chunks where I've taken a week off here, a week off there, I have actually been taking 1 day here and there and spreading that out. The reason for that is that it does feel like such a drastic change in your workload if you only have to work 2 shifts a week when you normally work 3. So for me that's really worked, but I know other people want to work really, really hard, do their 3 shifts a week and then completely shut off for their week. They want that full block time. So it's whatever works for you, but for me, knowing that we weren't going to be going on a big holiday in the run up to the wedding, I've taken it and spread it out, and that's worked really well for me over the last few months. So I'm going to start talking about my actual rota now, and I'm actually going to hold my laptop for this bit, and this is just because I can see what you can see, and so I can talk you through it properly. My hospital tends to prefer the 12-hour shifts, the 12.5-hour shifts, rather than doing lots of shorter shifts. That said, at least at my hospital you can request to work some of the shorter shifts, and some of the midwives do that, they work shorter shifts, but obviously if you're only working an 8-hour day then you are going to do more shifts in that week to make up your contract. So the majority of midwives at my hospital, and I think across the UK, the majority will be doing 12-hour shifts, days and nights, and working their 3 or 4 shifts a week. I haven't said what months these are, and that is purely for confidentiality reasons, because I'm writing things on my blog and I'm putting stuff up on YouTube. I don't want there ever to be a point where you can look at something and work out exactly when I worked. So I have labelled them month A, B, C and D. So month A, I worked mostly days, but I did have a few night shifts. It's actually quite a nice balance. I like that. I am not a midwife that loves doing nights. Some people absolutely love them and that is their preference. I find that it really messes with my sleep cycle, so I prefer just a smattering to help with the finances. If you're interested in what the enhancement is for a night shift and a weekend and the kind of money that you can earn as a newly qualified midwife, I have done a video on that. So I will link that in the description box and I'll also put a little pop-up link just up here. So month A, we can see that I did 2 days in the first week and they were split. So I worked a Wednesday and a Friday and then I had 12 hours of annual leave. So that's that spreading out of my annual leave that I was talking about. So that means I only had to work 2 shifts that week. So then the next week I worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and I worked a day and then 2 nights. When you have shifts in blocks, it is hard work and it does take it out of you, but then you're free for the rest of the week. So actually for me, I finished first thing Thursday morning on that week and then wasn't in again until the following Wednesday morning without taking any annual leave. So although shifts can be really, really tough and you do miss out on things, you also get a lot of time at home during the week to sort things out, to run other side hustles, to look after your children, whatever it is that you do. Working shifts can work alongside that really, really well. So the third week of month A, I had 3 day shifts. I did a Wednesday and a Thursday and then a Sunday. And that's quite a nice spread out of that. Little bit of weekend work, but not loads of it. Quite happy with that. The following week, the 4th week of month A, I had 2 days and a night, and they were split. So I worked Monday day, Wednesday day, and then Friday night. Again, that's quite a nice split, and it means you finish work on the Saturday morning, sleep for a few hours on the Saturday, and then you can actually do stuff on the Saturday night and the Sunday, so that's quite a nice balance. The final week of month A, I had a night on the Monday, and then 2 days, Thursday and Saturday. Again, that's quite nice. Overall, this month was quite a nice rota to do. There wasn't loads of weekend work, but there's enough nights and weekends smattered in there to really boost up my pay, but not too many nights that you end up completely shattered. So this is the kind of month that I like. So moving on to month B. Month B, there was a few more nights and a bit more time working on the weekends, or at least finishing nights on the Saturday morning. So as you can see, the first week I had 3 days split throughout the week. Fine, quite happy with that. Sunday day, again, it's really worth it for the money. So I'm not too fussed about working on weekends, particularly if it's only 1 day of the weekend and I can still spend some time with Matt on the Saturday. So the following week, 3 nights in a row. So I'm not a big fan of blocks of nights. 3 nights in a row is tough, I think. The first one's always a bit rough because your body's trying to get itself into working nights. The second one's always all right because you'll have slept quite a lot in the day. And the third one, for me at least, it always beats the living daylights out of me. So not always a big fan of 3 nights in a row. And then the following week, another 3 nights, not in a block. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Sunday night. Not too bad. I'd much prefer it like that than I would in a big block. Personal choice, but that's how I feel about that. The following week, 2 days and a night. I don't mind that. I think for me that's quite pleasant. And if I'm going to do shifts in a block, that's what I would prefer to do. Purely because you get up early in the morning, you go to work, you come back, you see your loved ones, have what's left of the evening, have some dinner, things like that. You wake up early in the morning, you go to work, you do the same again, and then the next day you get to lie in. So you justifiably lie in as long as you possibly can, get up, have a really lazy day, have a nap in the afternoon, and then go to work. So that for me, I'm quite happy with that as a block. I would much prefer to do that as a block than 3 nights in a row. And then the last week of month B, long day on the Monday, a night on the Tuesday, and a day on the Friday. Again, that's not too bad. Nothing wrong with that. So that for me, I had a day on a Sunday. I had 2 Friday night shifts that go into a Saturday, which do take out most of your Saturday daytime. And I had a Saturday night and a Sunday night. So that had a lot more nights in it and a lot more time on the weekends. But again, still not terrible. Month C, I remember this, and this was brutal. By the end of this month, I was not very coherent at all. And it's purely because there's just lots of blocks of nights with not a lot of recovery time. But again, this is exactly how the rota is done, and it just shows how much the rota can vary month to month. This month felt like it was never going to end. So, month C, the first week's fine. Long day on the Tuesday, a night on the Thursday, a day on the Sunday, fine. Absolutely fine with that. Then there was a 3-week stint of nights. Now, I've already said how I feel about blocks of nights. So, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, that's 3 nights in a row. You come home from the Sunday night shift on a Monday morning and sleep all day Monday. Then you have a day off on Tuesday. And then I had Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, come back Saturday morning, sleep all day Saturday, get up, day off on the Sunday. And then again, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, come home on the Thursday morning, sleep all day Thursday, and then I was off. But that run of nights, it was quite early on, and I just remember feeling like I had been beaten up. It was really tough. And I could have probably tried to swap shifts with people to try and make it a bit easier, but it is what it is. The last week of that month was fine as well. Day at the beginning, night in the middle, and the day at the end. So again, that's fine. But that run of nights is really, really rough. The final month rota that I'm going to show you is month D. This one was a bit more gentle than month C, thank goodness. Fewer nights, and I also had 24 hours worth of annual leave in those 12-hour blocks that I told you about. So there were actually 2 weeks of this month that I only had 2 shifts, which is lovely. So I worked Monday night, Thursday day, Friday day, had the weekend off, and then Monday day, Tuesday day, Friday day. That's fine. I quite like things like that. Couple of days off, another day, weekend off. That I could do every week, really, really happily. Actually, that doesn't include any enhancements. So, although I say I could do that quite happily, the knock-on effect on my pay, I probably wouldn't want to do that every week. So it's a balance, and sometimes you have to take those antisocial shifts just to top up your pay a little bit. So the following week I had 12 hours of annual leave. So this is where I made some tactical requests. So I knew I had my 12 hours of annual leave, so I used 2 of the requests that I had this month to work the Saturday and the Sunday. So that was, obviously I didn't know what I'd be working the previous week, but I knew that even if I was working the Sunday, I knew that I would have the whole week off, Monday to Friday off, for 12 hours of annual leave, which is just brilliant. So it actually worked out that I had the previous weekend off. So I had a whole week off, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for 12 hours of annual leave, when really if I'm having 7 days off, it would be 36 hours. But because of the way that the shift working works, yes, I'm working a weekend, but I got a whole week off for 12 hours of annual leave. Not bad. The following week, 3 days split, including a Saturday day. Lovely, quite happy with that. And then again, the next week, I had 2 nights, but but I also had 12 hours of annual leave. I had Monday and Tuesday off, worked Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then I was off for the weekend. So again, that's quite nice. So I hope that gives you a bit of an overview of the kind of shifts that you work as a midwife. Obviously it varies from hospital to hospital, and some hospitals do the shorter shifts and things like that. For me, I quite like the 12-hour shifts because it gives you work fewer shifts and you have your valuable time off in the week, and I find that particularly useful for running my blog as well. As a midwife, there's always going to be the odd thing that you miss, and I think if you are considering going into this career, you need to consider that. There's always going to be a thing that you can't go to. There's always going to be even just like last minute things like going for drinks on a Friday night that get decided on that Friday night. Now I have done it before where I've finished work, I've got home at 8:30, I've got changed, I've put on some makeup and I've gone out for a drink and I have been so tired. But you can do it, you can get that balance, but there's always going to be a thing that you miss. The other thing I suppose that's worth talking about is Christmas. You are going to be working, as a midwife, you are going to be working your normal hours on Christmas week and New Year week and bank holidays across the year. There are different ways of working it, and generally you put in a preference of what shifts you want to work out of a set choice of shifts that no one wants to work, and it goes from there, but you get told what you're going to work. Last year I worked Christmas, I'll link that video up here. I didn't ask to work Christmas, but I hope that because I worked Christmas last year, I won't have to work Christmas this year. I don't know yet. But yeah, I think it's something that's really important to mention, is that you are going to work shifts that you don't want to work, but you also get to do this incredible job. So I hope that's cleared up a few of the questions that I have had from people. If you've got any more questions, please leave them in the comments. As I said at the start of this video, I am going to be putting videos out every single Thursday from now on. So please click subscribe, set your alerts so that you get a notification when I have a new video out. I'm going to be sharing a real variety of stuff, whether that is vlogs, sitting down and talking to the camera about midwifery and things like that, Q&As. I've got a load of stuff planned, so please click on that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up while you're down there. It really helps. And if you've got any other videos that you would like to see, please leave them in the comments. I've had loads of messages on Instagram from people this week saying, oh, can you do a video on this, or can you do a post on this? Absolutely, I'm more than happy to do that. If there's things that you want to know about, I'm happy to do a video about them. So please leave me a comment and I will do that. I really hope this video's helped, and I will see you for the next one.